I think all set now. So, good afternoon, one and all present here in this meeting on the virtual platform, Zoom. So, this is going to be the valedictory session of this 1 week international FDP, which is themed on recent advances in computer science and allied domains. And I'm very, very thankful to all the participants and all the speakers who have spoken so far on this platform. And today we have with us Mr. Pani Karnati from AI, which is an organization in Hyderabad. So I take this opportunity to introduce the speaker to the audience. Mr. Pani is an experienced technical lead with a demonstrated history of working in the healthcare industry. He is skilled in predictive modeling, artificial intelligence, and machine learning using Python, R, and SAS. He has a very sound knowledge on big data visualization and storytelling with data. He has worked on various relational and non-relational databases and data visualization tools like Tableau and Power BI. He is a strong engineering professional with a Bachelor of Technology focused in electrical and electronics engineering from Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University. He pursued his master's in business analytics from the prestigious University of Louisville, USA, with 3.95 GPA out of 4. He is also pursuing the PhD from the University of Louisville. As I told you earlier, that presently he is working with AI, and prior to this, he has worked as an chief consultant AI or data science with Nearbuzz. He has also worked with Travelers as a lead data scientist and with Humana as a tech lead. So with these words, may I now request Mr. Pani to kindly take over and address the gathering, sir. Over to you, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a wonderful introduction.
My pleasure.
Thanks a lot. Okay. Yeah. So, with God's grace, I lived in US for almost 12 years, and I moved back to India very recently to take care of some of the personal things. So yeah, I was with healthcare for a long time, and led their data science competency over many years. Okay, so yeah, so let me go ahead and start with what all the advancements we have in the computer science industry. And being an AI expert, most probably I'll drive you towards that and what is the significance, what are the roles and responsibilities of the data scientist. And okay, I'll give you a brief introduction about all those things. Okay, so let me start. Let me share my screen and start with something. So how are you all doing? All doing good? Having the great weekend? So are you people working today, or is it time of?
Yes, sir. Some of them are working and some are at home.
Okay, that's it. Good. So yeah, no, with advancement in the computer science technologies, what is the first thing that is taking the precedence all these days is the data science, right? So when it comes to the data science, it is a buzzword in the industry now, but it is there in the industry since 1970s. But what the problem with that one is, we don't have the computation power. So we take about NLP, one of the stream of the data science. It is there since almost late 90s, 70s kind of thing, where people try to interpret the sentences, words, and translations, but they didn't go well because they don't have the proper computation power, right? So after 1990s and the early 2000s, where this deep learning has come into the picture, they all gain a lot of significance. Okay, so let me start slowly. I'll go back and try to explain you the things. What are the different levels we have to go through? when we talk about the data science. Okay, so let me understand, let me try to ask you, I don't know whether you people can talk to me or whether you can ping me. So let me open your chat window. Okay, okay, great. So let me ask you a few questions. How many are you of you are comfortable with AI? What is AI in fact? Do you know what are the different types of AI which you really see in the world? So let me ask you a question. Okay, so let me take it simply. So have you ever seen this Ford Motors assembly line? Have you ever seen these kind of images?
Yes, sir.
Right. So what is this one? These are all robots doing a great job. What are they actually doing? They're actually building the car from the scratch with the you putting a skeleton of the car on the assembly line, right? Okay. When we have these kind of robots doing the really great job, what is that people are talking about the other kind of robots, which are Boston Dynamics? Have you ever seen these Boston Dynamics robots?
Yes,
Right,
sir, full times.
right. And when these are all there already in the industry since long time, why there is a lot of discussion happening around these things? Can anybody tell me what the difference is?
Here in Boston Dynamics, I think we are putting more reasoning part in that. And in that one, a fixed standard format has been given to those robots, and they are working on that on.
Right. So in other way, what you are trying to say is these robots, what we are talking about here, they are all AI only, but these things are rule-based AI, which means that what is AI? Where a human intervention is not needed. Okay, where you are automating anything. That all falls under artificial intelligence. Yes, this is an artificial intelligence because you don't need a human. It is not that easy to design these kind of robots. It is almost building a car, right? This definitely leads lot of technology in this, but think about, you just stop this car for 10 seconds and leave it. What these robots will do, they will fix the tires in the seat in the tires, right guys? So they don't think, they don't perceive, they don't understand the environment. Then what is the difference here? These are all machine learning based AI. So this is rule based AI and this is the machine learning based AI. What is the difference? These things, these robots understand the environments. No, it is not RPA. RPA is different. Okay. It is not RPA. It is machine learning. Okay. Completely machine learning based robots, which means that they understand, they learn, they fail, they learn, they fail, they learn. So that is where the machine learning based AI, I mean, the robots are gaining a lot of significance. It's not that easy, right? If you talk about a vacuum cleaner, a robo vacuum cleaner, you know why, how significant it is or how important it is when you take up, because you can't design that for one house, right? You can't make it a rule based. Every house is a different. It has to understand the house in day-to-day life, and tomorrow you bring new sofa, it has to understand that one and change its path accordingly. Okay, so now the question is, so let me write it down for you. So there will be, one is rule based, okay, and the other one is ML based. When it is rule based, yes, rule based are more accurate because someone defines the rule and you design the program accordingly. You see the the robots cutting the granites, they are all rule-based AI only. Your websites are rule-based AI. Can you tell me some examples of machine learning based AI, which you people hear before? Your chatbots. You know why chatbots are so irritating? Because they are not learned. They are not trained properly. They have not learned. Why? Because, say for example, you start an electronics company. Okay, what is that needed for the chart? You have for you to prepare a chatbot for that one, for your company, you need lots and lots and lots of corpus data, right? You can't just give some data and expect the chatbot work such that they answer your questions automatically. Even if you're banking industry, how many kinds of questions you ask just for a credit card? I need a credit card. What is the best credit card? Can you tell me how many credit cards you have? Just for a credit card, thousands of people will ask in 1,000 different ways. This bot has to understand each and every sentence. That is not that easy. Why? Because it is not in a single form. Okay, so that is the problem which is right there in the world, and we are all trying to solve that one. If everything is so smooth that we can design the rules, we don't need ML. Why we need ML? We need it for unstructured realistic process. So that those are all ML based AI. Okay, and what is the disadvantage of this one, ML based AI? It takes time for you to understand, because for the model to understand, and it takes high computation, and it needs a lot of data, and it is not that accurate. Rule based is more accurate. ML based is not accurate. You can't achieve the 100% accuracy, right? And what are the different advantages? Say for example, can you define a rules for the elephant? So if I just take up the picture of an elephant, can you define the rules for this one? You can't, because elephant can be in different forms. So for this kind of image processing, can you define the rules for your voice? No, because everybody's voice is entirely different. So there should be a machine learning process that understands the variation, veracity in different voices, different data, and give your best predicted output. Okay, so when it comes to the AI, sorry, it goes like this. You might have seen this picture many times, but I'm trying to explain you. So your AI is a bigger entity. Okay, all the automation process, even your RPA, I can call it as AI, but it is still rule based AI. It is not a ML based. So this AI is a bigger entity. Now you're in your robotic competitions also, you might have seen the robots in the battlefield, but everything is being controlled outside. So those are all your IoT devices. They are all AI, but they are not machine learning based. The machine learning based AI means machine learning is a subset of AI. However, it is not everything in the AI is considered as a machine learning. Now, the other examples which I had shown you, like probably the parsing the environment, your robo vacuum cleaner, that is all falls under the deep learning. What is the difference between the ML and the deep learning is pretty straightforward. Deep learning deals with the unstructured data in the form of neurons. Can I do machine learning predictions using my deep learning? The answer is yes, you can do that one. However, deep learning best suits when the data is very unstructured. Okay, unstructured data. Say for example, your image is an unstructured data, voice is an unstructured data. So it starts with unstructured, you convert them into structured, then you use your any of the machine learnings. Okay, I'll get to that level also. Now when it comes to the machine learning, deep learning is a part of AI, as well as deep learning is a part of your machine learning. Not everything in the machine learning is called as a deep learning. Okay. Now let's talk what is this machine learning all about. Okay. So let me give a simple example. What I'll tell you what machine learning is all about. A simple teeny weeny example. Okay. So say for example, if I have 2 and my output is 5, and if I have 3, my output is 7, right? Okay. And if I have 4, my output is 9. And if I have 5, can you tell me what my output will be? Is it is 11, right? It is just 11.
11, yes.
Yeah. How did you get to that conclusion?
2x plus 1.
2x plus 1, right? It's as simple as that. The machine learning exactly does the same. Okay. What it does is it takes the current data and understand the pattern of that one and generalize and forms an equation. And definitely it is not as simple as I had shown here, right? It understands the data in more complex way, in a more polynomial way. There are many factors that comes into picture, but overall logic remains same. It forms a mathematical definition out of the pattern by generalizing the understanding of the current data. That data is called historical data. Historical data. Where this data will come from? Where this data will come from? This data comes from the existing business accumulation of the data. Take any business, they have been collecting the data since long time, years and years. And what happened is, in industry, nowadays it's a different case. Nowadays the data is it is exploding like anything with social media, Facebook and Twitter and all those things. But the data science where it comes from is the traditional companies. Take any traditional company, hospitals and all, and any research labs, they have been collecting the data since long time, and they never got to use that data. They don't know what to do with the data. Okay, so what happened is, this AI is already in the place since long time. Okay, as I told you, it doesn't have the computational power, but it used it to win the games, chess and all. Nobody really cared about that one. But what happened is, over a period, they got this business with the data and the AI capabilities got merged, and the people started seeing the importance of the benefits of the AI by making the useful insights of this data. If you can predict, what is going to happen to my sales in the next 3-4 years, okay, they have a different cutting edge over other competitors, right? So they are seeing the business benefits because of this utilization of the AI, right? So there it started gaining the traction, because it's a money, right? When it comes to the business, it's all money. Okay, when the money is there, then everybody starts focusing on that. And it's become like a website nowadays. So everybody who wants to be in the game, who wants to put their skin in the game, they have to implement the AI, right? So that is where you see the significance of this machine learning coming up these days, and everybody's talking up. Before 10 years, nobody knows about this AI, right? Now everybody sees the data coming in, and data is going to be the new fuel. That is the buzzword that is being used, and that is where this machine learning, resourcing and all started coming up, right? So this is what exactly the AI does. What it does is, it's generalize the data and forms the equation. So if you want to understand the machine learning in simple words, I'll tell you how to look at this one, right? So now traditional programming, how do you do that? How do you see the traditional programming? You see the input, right? And you give the rules. Where will the rules come from? Where will the rules come from? Who normally gives the rules? The business. Okay, right? Once these rules are given, somebody will develop the program according to the rules. And once you give the input, you get the output, right? However, in the machine learning, it is a different case. What is going to happen in the machine learning? You will have the input, and you will have the output, right, guys? And what is that it is going to do is it will form its own rules depending on this data. It will form its own rules in the sense, not just own rules, the relevant rules. Okay, so in my previous example, can you tell me what is my input? The 2, 3, 4, 5 are my inputs. Okay, and my output is 5, 7, whatever, 2x plus 1, right? Those is my output. And did I tell the algorithm that it should be 2x plus 1? No, the algorithm itself forms the equation, generalizes that one, 2x plus 1, and it is ready now for the new data. So tomorrow, if you give any data, which if you give 10, it will give 21. So it is giving output on its own by preparing the rules. That is machine learning. In a simple words, that is machine learning. So hope you people are clear so far.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let me take it to the next level. Okay. So can you tell me some of the areas which you people are aware where machine learning plays a significant role at this point? Like, what are the different applications that you see the machine learning?
Communication, transportation, healthcare.
Healthcare, right? Very well-known applications. Fraud detection.
Yes.
Okay. Your
Finance industry. Yes.
finance industry, in the fintech, the fraud detection is the key area, right? Okay. And your Truecaller is one of the ML application, all right? And your probability of default, approving the loan, rejecting the loan. So what it does, it tries to predict your, hello, can you hear me?
You are audible.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
So
due to some reason recording got stopped.
oh,
So
that's okay.
I'll talk to Dr. Ankur. Yeah.
Sure. That's not a problem. Okay. So now in the ML, there are two types of problems that you're going to solve. One is a regression problem. The other one is classification problem. Okay. So anybody can give me the insight, what is a regression problem and what is a classification problem? Okay. So let me explain you that. First, the regression problem. Okay. So now, if you are going for a loan, what all things they ask you for? Your age, name is, of course, name is there. The other thing is age, salary, job holder or not, whether you have a job or not. Okay, whether you have a job or not. And there are many other features they ask you. And from the data that they have been collecting years together, they will say that whether you have to be given a loan or not, right? Means they had given the loan to this person. That is the variable that we normally call in the machine learning as a target. In the ML industry, in the data science industry, we call that as a target. So the every data that they collect for a person over the period, whoever walks into the bank, there will be a decision making happening whether that person should be given a loan or not, right? So like that, they may be collecting for the years together, and that those are called data points. Each entry is called the data point. Very nice. Yes. Classification categories, COVID positive or not, right? That is also a your classification, right? So each one is called each one is called the observation. Okay. And these things are called your features. These are called your features. And these are called observations. Okay. So when your target, when you're trying to solve a problem, whether the person should be given a loan or not, it is a kind of Boolean, right? 0 or 1. Okay. This is, which means two classes of the people. What is a class? One is a acceptance class, one is a rejection class, right? When you are trying to predict something of this kind, where your target is a classification type, then that is called the classification problem. Okay. That is not at all, right? Once the person is selected for the loan, what will be the normally the next step? What is the next question that comes into your mind? How much loan he has to given, right? Whether it is a 1 million, 2 million, 0.5 million, 0.75 million, we don't know, right? Depending on the different criteria, you have to allocate certain loan to him, right? So that loan is the target now. What is the amount of the loan is a target now, right? When you are trying to solve some problem of giving the how much loan that has to be given to a person is a regression problem. Is a regression problem. Okay. With this one, the bank has to decide whether to reject a customer. If he is accepted, what is the amount that it can take risk on him? Okay. So these kind of models are being developed in the banks to make the decisions faster and accurate. What is the problem here? Can anybody tell me what are the different things that needs to be taken into consideration and be careful about? The concept is simple. You can't give the loan, means your model should never say yes to a person who will be actually a defaulter, and your model should never say no to a person who is a non-defaulter. Both are lost to the company. Okay, both are lost to the company. You can say to certain extent, but you can't say it completely wrong, right? In my previous example also, when I say y is equal to, when I gave 5, you said it is 20, you said it is like 11, right? Or yeah, something like 11. How did you say that? 2x plus 1. But do you exactly know that it is going to 11, the actual value? No, we don't know. The actual value we don't know. When it comes to the reality, it can be 12 or it can be 13. That is the reason when I'm saying your machine learning models can't be as accurate as rule-based. Same thing can happen here also. Yes, your model may sometimes go wrong and predict the person who is not going to be defaulter as a defaulter and who is going to be a defaulter as a non-defaulter. But that has to be within the acceptable range. That is where the data scientists play a major role. That is where the data scientists play a major role. If you are saying everything wrong, there is no point in you being a data scientist or the model being a model to predict the things, right? It is going completely wrong, like our fortune tellers, right? So for this to happen correctly, what is that you need? For this to happen more accurately, what is that you need? What is that you need is lots and lots of data. Okay, you need lots and lots of data for the model to understand and get trained well. Okay, right, I have lots and lots of data, but what is the problem? What is the problem? Yes, I have the data. Then what? That's a question. The question is the most worst part, and which can be in any of the form, is the data, because you have no control on it, right? How do you write your tweet? Hello. So how many O's you put? There are so many O's, right? You do anything, you mess it up, right? Some fields you fill an application. We are all how many people? 44 or 79, 80 people. If I give an application to the 80 people, all 80 applications will be in a different form. Somebody puts the phone number, somebody don't put the email, somebody puts the address, their address will be in different form, right? You have no control. Data is in all the forms. All you have to do is tame that one, right? So that is where this data science comes into picture, right?
Data is unstructured.
Exactly. Before that, you need to understand the data, right? What is a neural science? The person who studies about the neurons and the nerve system, right? Which means that if you see a certain report in the medical history, you don't understand anything, right? You don't know anything. Why? Because you don't know that science. Same thing, the person who don't know the data science don't understand the data. So put a Excel sheet in front of him, or little Excel sheet is much better. Put any form of the data. The person who don't know the data science don't know what to do. He can't make any insights of the data. Now the person who knows this data science only can talk to the data, understand the data, and make, thank you, understand the data and make some insights out of it, right? That is all about the data science. So for anybody to become a data science, what is the first thing that they should know is start loving the data. And unfortunately, what is the worst thing is data is very boring subject. Okay, because data is in all the forms. How many times you people analyze your credit card bill? You don't sit and analyze it because it's a boring part, but you have to start doing that if somebody wants to get into the data science. 60 to 70% of the time you start playing with the data. Why? Because you have to tame the data. Machine learning sounds a fancy name, but they are dumb. I'm telling you right now, even though we call it as a machine learning, they are dumb because they don't know how to handle the data. It is the data scientists who handle the data and nicely prep the data and give it to the machine learning. Then only machine learning give the best output. If you give the garbage in, it will give the garbage out. So who is playing important role? I don't see any significance of machine learning unless until a data scientist really cleanse the data to his best. For the data scientist to cleanse the data to his best, he should know how to tame the data, how to handle the data. That is the science. It is not a simple rule that yeah, you do these things, you will correct the data. You should know how to talk to the data. Data should talk to you back, right? Talk back to you and say that, hey, I'm skewed. You see me, I have an outlier. So you should know that science, then only you will get into that level where you get the best machine learning models. So it all starts with the data. So you understand now? So what are the different advantages with this one is, do you believe me if I say that 80% of the Netflix movie shows, means movie viewership, is based on your recommendation engine. If I ask you, any of you, that what movie you are going to watch in the evening, you don't know. Can you tell me 2 movies that you are going to watch this evening? Saturday evening, you don't know. But when you open the Netflix, you are automatically tempted to watch 1 or 2 movies. Very rare, only few people know that they have some movie in mind. Okay. But once you get in, you are prompted to watch the movies. Same thing with Amazon. Those are all recommendation engines, right? And these are all the business benefits. Okay, so let me tell you some of the companies where my friends own, and they are close friends of mine, and you will be surprised what is going on there. Okay, I'll show you this one. Limbic, this company. Okay, this has been acquired by LTI. Okay, so this CEO is good friend of mine. So what is this? He is the current CEO. The actual founder is good friend of mine. So so when I was in US, when I was in Travelers, these people came to give the demo to the travelers to sell their product basically. And I'll tell you how beautiful this product is. Okay, I don't know, like I can't demo it, but I'll tell you what is going on with this. Let me open this. I don't know whether it's going to open or not. Yeah, so it has been renamed or something like that. So you want to try it. So it is currently under maintenance. So what this company does is, see, what is this saying? Why has sales decreased in Europe? What is this? It's just a question. You ask, behind the scenes, the natural language processing works, the deep learning works, and it automatically gives the reason. No one feeded this. It understands the data, analyze the data depending on your question, and it is giving the output. So they had brought the Britannia's data to give us the demo, and you can ask, hey, what will be my sales for next 10 years? It will analyze and it will produce the results automatically. You don't need to do anything. How much time it will take if you ask an employee, hey, can you get me the next 10-year sales projection? He will go, he will take the data, he will analyze. At least 10 days is what he takes. Within a minute, like Siri, you can ask on your data. Okay, so if, say, for example, if this tool is there with your university, and you can ask, what are the results of my students for the last 10 years? You just put the raw data. You didn't put the processor data. I mean, processor data, at least structured data, you'll put it, and you just ask the question. You just ask, what are the results of my students in the last average results? It immediately goes and pulls all the results and brings up. And you can also ask the prediction. What will be my students joining ratio in the next 5 years? It brings up. So that is the power of this tool. And so these are all the technological advancements that are happening in the IT industry currently. Okay. And let me tell you, my other friend's company, it's a Nearbuzz. He's good friend of mine. So do you know what is going on here? Let me tell you. You go to the shopping mall, okay, and there will be hoardings over there. Okay, so this one, if you go with 5 of your friends, the male friends, when you sit at the hoarding, it automatically detect who are those people sitting there. If you're all men, then it immediately shows the bikes. It changes dynamically. The hoardings the hoardings will change dynamically to show the advertisement of bikes or protein powders. Okay, all the men activities. Okay, if the women are sitting there, if the group of women are sitting there, it automatically dynamically changes. This is called audience measurement, right? It dynamically changes to show that all the beauty products, okay, or probably the ornaments, saris, dresses. It changes to the women items. If there are kids, again, it changes to the toys and chocolates and all those things. So it dynamically analyzes, and not only that one, it analyzes for how much time the people are seeing your hoarding. Okay, and you see this part, this is your hoarding on the street, right? By the time the car passes or any vehicle passes, it analyzes whether that how much time the person is seeing your hoarding, how many of them who passed by has seen your hoarding, and for how much time for each person. So that level of analytics are being done, and he has all the Dubai clients, the Middle East clients, because they are all the marketing happens over there. Indian clients are very less. That is the reason you may not see these kind of significance in India, but you have they have the huge presence in Middle East. Okay, and another company, Jotter.ai. So what is this company doing? So if you go to Flipkart, you go to Flipkart, you see for shirt, right? You see for a shirt, you see this model standing, or take this model. So these are all the same model. This model is same, this person is same, this person is same. Okay, you see this model put on the same dress, right? Okay, do you think this person gave the photo shoot wearing this shirt and this shirt? It was the case before. Believe me, it was the case before. Yes, this model has to be paid, and he will put this shot on, and he will put this shot on, and he charges for every 1 hour. And for the photo shoot also, the person who is taking the photo shoot has to be a professional photographer. Now, and believe me, these people, I'll show you before, they have the Flipkart as a client. See, Flipkart, Amazon, Mitra, Azure are the clients. Why? How? Because what the innovation they did is they took this person, okay, right? And they have rest of them, first one model, one shirt, that's it. Rest of them, they put it on the manicure. What are the manicures? In the shops, you will see that, right? You'll see the manicures. They will put on them, and you don't need a top photographer. You only need the normal photographer, take the pictures, and these people will peel off the shirt from that manicure. Means the software, the AI, the machine learning will peel off the shirt from the manicure and put it on the model in all the forms, and there will be a little bit of adjustments. That's it. That other shirt is ready for the display, and with high precision. Okay, if they don't have the precision, these people won't accept. With the high precisions, they do that one. Same thing you can do with everything. Same thing they can do all the variables also. Whatever you are seeing here, they don't need to be in the real time. So these kind of innovations are happening nowadays with the AI and the machine learning. But what is the key here? What is the key here? As I told you, it might not be accurate, but what level of accuracy is accepted? When I was in US in my healthcare company, I was working. I mean, we delivered one of the prestigious project. I'm going to talk about that one in a minute. Okay, so that project is prediction of the hysterectomy. Do you people know what is a hysterectomy? Hysterectomy is a pre-cancer surgery for a woman. Okay. RECTOMY. Okay. Pardon my handwriting because I'm using mouse. I don't have that writing pad. Okay. So what is this all about? It is a pre-cancer surgery for women, and if you can predict this before, what is women normally like? This happens for only women, unfortunately, and age above 40. So if you know most of the women by the 40, they might have already have 2 kids, 1 or 2 kids for sure, and they may undergo 2 cesareans for giving the birth to the kids, right? Okay, and this surgery is making their life miserable. Why? Because it's a surgery. They are already had undergone 2 surgeries, and these surgeries again make their post-surgical complications are very huge for the woman. Okay, so what I heard this in one of the conference, and I took it to my management. Can't we predict this? And we got the funding approved for this one, and we started predicting it. We are going to predicting it 3 months advance. 3 months advance. Okay, so what is the advantage? There are 2 advantages with this one. One is my company being a healthcare company. If the surgery is done, there will be a claim. In US, the claim is very high, right? Every surgical claims are very high. So we say we will be guarded from the claims, right? The less claims, more benefit to the company. And what is another advantage? The social side of it. We are giving the healthy life to the woman. All right. Once you predict it, they can be treated on the medication. You don't need to go for a surgery. Okay. So that gives me immense satisfaction that we are bringing change in somebody's life. We took it really serious. We started with 2,500 features. We started with 2,500 features, and ultimately 250 features has been finalized. We used ANN, artificial neural networks, with back propagation. Okay, so we finalized these models, and they are giving immense result. In these kind of scenarios, can you tell me where should I focus upon most? Is, say for example, I'll write it down here. If the woman is going to get the hysterectomy, and my prediction says yes, she is going to get the hysterectomy, then it is good. If the woman is not going to get the hysterectomy and I predicted it no, then it is also good. And if woman is not going to get, by mistake, if I predict yes, if my prediction says yes, then what happens? She may be called for a lab test, and in the lab test it will come negative, and she will go home happily. Probably $100 or $200 will be spent for the lab test. But what is more problematic is woman is prone to hysterectomy, and I am predicting that she is not. My model is saying that she is not. What is the problem here? She is happy with her family at home. One day it will be detected that she has some problem. So which scenario I have to focus most? This is more critical scenario. And what is that you understand from that one? The data scientist job is not just 9 to 5 job. Okay, it has immense responsibility. It has immense responsibility. You have to take the things personally if you are really bringing a change for a social cause. Okay, and you have to consider it very seriously. Any one mistake is not serving your purpose. You may not achieve 100%. At least you have to take that into consideration and just see that you are mitigating these kind of scenarios when you are developing your model. Yes, there is a possibility of your mistake, because your model can't achieve 100%. Definitely, as I told, machine learning can't be 100% accurate, but you have to know what kind of scenarios and what kind of we call them as a false negatives, right? Which kind of metrics is important for you depending on your business scenario, and take that as seriously as possible. Okay, and say for example, you may have to predict the landing gear failure of a flight, right? How serious it is. Is it as serious as a pilot, right? Because you are as responsible as, it's definitely not 9 to 5 job. You are predicting the landing gear failure of a flight. Okay, which means that you say that it won't fail, and it failed even one time, that's a disaster. You don't need a model for that, right? Tell me one thing, how many times the landing gear fails while the flight is landing? That itself is a rare scenario, and you are not predicting it right. Then why do we need a data scientist? All right. So these are all the things one has to keep in mind when you take up this role. So in addition to what you do to love your data, you have to be responsible with your job. It is definitely not a normal job. That is the reason why the data scientists are given high importance. Reason? Because they are decision makers. Technically, it can be as sound as like Java resource or C# resource, but responsibility wise, it is the next level where people depend on your decision. That is the key, right? Okay, so now you have to think from the perspective whether you are bringing any change in anybody's life. What we are doing currently is we are working on the one of the project. Where is this mouse? So hope I'm making my point very clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So any questions so far?
Sir, the things are so clear that I don't think that there will be any question on this. And I can see on the chat window also, it is full of responses so far, the
Yeah.
questions you have asked for.
Thank you so much. So we, as of now, currently we are doing some research on the plant disease prediction. Okay. So this is the source code. Where is that source code? I think it is here. We're using YOLO V5, some advanced algorithm. What is YOLO is a deep learning algorithm. You only look once. It is little advanced than your CNN. Okay. So the problem is what is happening in the India is mostly agricultural dependent country, right? So from my company, we're trying to develop a product. What is our objective is to detect the disease in the plant. So it is in still research phase. Okay, to
So
detect
I
the,
have a question
sure,
here.
yeah.
So while deciding a topic to go for research, and how do you means take the literature? Means how do you find the literature? Like we should work on this paper or that paper. How do
Okay.
you decide your base paper?
All right. The base paper depends on my objective. Okay.
Okay.
So here my objective is very simple. I want to detect diseases in the plant. That is where I started. Okay. So I
You
don't
don't,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't look for the means where it has been published and what are the credentials of this paper.
No. We see this is my writing on. This is what I am writing.
Okay, this is
Okay.
your.
Yeah. This is
Okay.
my understanding. So these are all different research papers I have read through. Okay, and trying to understand the gap. So first what I do, I'll set my objective, and that is what we did. And what is the problem? Okay, first we understand the one which are seeing is little in the next level. So where I started is I started from the very ground root level. First I understood the problem, and uh, we came from the little farmer's background. So we know that there is a problem. And really, is it a problem? First I did the survey, I went to the farms and tried to understand their I jotted down my stakeholders. I met the government officers, okay, irrigation department, Racsad, and all the farmers, of course. So I became farmer myself when I went with the farmers, because my questionnaire, I readied my questionnaire, okay, and asked them almost 15 questions, not as a question and answer section. If I ask them like a question and answer sections, people will run away, thinking that I am some different person. Because so I did not dress well. I just went like a farmer and tried to immerse in their farming and try to ask, ऐसा है तो कैसा आता, ऐसा है तो कैसा होता. So I tried to frame my questions not as a questions, as a story, right? So I got my input that there is a severe problem with the farmers, that they don't know what nutrition should be put in the farms at what time and how much. Okay. And what are the different diseases, because it's a conglomeration of the diseases that a plant can have, right? So they are unable to predict what kind of disease. And the second thing is they can't be present over there all the time to see that one. So my idea is framed around that one. So what my idea is, it is a straightforward idea. I want to first detect the disease. Okay. And for that one, it's not a manual. I want to run a drone around the crop. And first step is to identify infected area. From the whole plot, I want to identify the infected areas. And then I have to go there and see what kind of diseases the plant has. Suggest the pest for that one, and also suggest the plant soil nutrients for that. Okay, so that is where we are completely involved currently. I have a couple of people working with me, very intellectuals and a scientist, and we are planning to get this product rolled out probably in a year and a half from now. Right. So before we start this product, I did a lot of research. I did the market survey. Do we really have the competitors and all? Okay. Of course, that is not a data science area, but we have to do that one. Then once it comes into the data science, we are going to use, there is a research gap also. There people did the research, but there is a huge gap. They only used one algorithm and see how that algorithm has performed. But they didn't compare the different algorithms. They did not tune the hyperparameters properly to get the best out of those algorithms. So that is where my research analysis said, and there is a research gap. Okay. And we are trying to cover that research gap. And at this point, YOLO X and YOLO R are doing good. They're very fast. FPS is very fast. Okay. And YOLO 5 is also nice at currently. And we are trying to see which is the best algorithm. Then what is that we have to do? We have to integrate it with the drone. So we can't have this GPU run, right? What is the challenge here? I want it to be lightweighted. Okay. I don't have a system, right? I can't put a system on the drone. So it has to be IoT based, processing efficient, lightweight software. So I have to do that one next. Then I have to load it onto some IoT device, and that IoT has to be implanted onto the drone, and it has to be camera connected, and anything that comes fishy out of the crop, we have to inform it back, or we have to at least keep in the memory, and once the drone comes back, we should be able to collect the data. So either way it is fine, but I have not designed anything on that from that front. But once I go there, I have to redesign. I have to hit my drawing board and try to redesign all those things. Okay, so that is one thing that we are into complete research. Okay, and the other thing what we are doing is so the document extraction. So we have the documents, the PDF documents. Okay, I know this is probably, you might have heard it, but the way we are doing it is entirely different. Okay, we have it is not a simple solution what we are developing. So all these amounts are in the PDF, right? Okay, so all these are all the different PDFs. Okay, so what we are doing is, once we load them into the portal, that should be able to extract all the data from the PDF and show it into the Excel. What is the advantage of that one? You don't need to enter any of the data manually. It all automatically reads the PDFs and put it onto the Excel. Okay, so in the Excel, you can do your computation. A lot of banking people need this one, but nobody did to the extent I see, I'm open to say that one, because there is a huge difference between what current people are doing and what we are doing. So there is a different level we are doing at in our company. Okay, so it can process thousands and thousands of PDFs at the same time. So that level of scalability is what we are creating, because company doesn't need 1 or 2 PDFs, right? It needs huge bulk set of PDFs. Okay, so it processes all the PDFs at a time and try to give the output. So that is another product what we are doing in our company at this point. So we are challenging ourselves at the scale, and we are challenging itself over the performance, and we are challenging ourselves at the lightweight. So if we can achieve all these three, most of the things can be achieved. Okay, so the performance, volume, and the lightweight. So the software should be as light as possible. I don't need a big GPU to execute. So initially, to start with, I start with GPU, but I can't hold the GPU forever. So I have to get it as lightweight as possible so that I can deploy it wherever I want. Okay, and I told you, right, my friend who is the near bus, that they also need a lightweight software. They can't have a, in the hoarding board, they can't have this big computer putting on that, and that your face recognition happens, and how much time you are seeing the hoarding. These all things should happen at the real time, right? Either you put it on the edge, or you transfer the data and process it on the cloud, right? So those things, can you tell me another? Yeah, go ahead.
So sir, what are the approaches that can be utilized here to make the software lightweight, according to you?
Oh, so the first thing is probably you may have to take little bit of powerful edge computation devices. That is one thing. And the second thing is the algorithms which we are using. Okay, they should be lightweighted algorithms. So you have to tune those algorithms in such a way. You can't you take the same algorithm, but you have to rewrite that algorithm such that it improves the performance. It does the process fast. And in the same program, you have to use parallel processing. That is the first thing that has to happen. So if you have a parallel processing, then you can say that you are processing more in the less amount of time, and you don't write many lines of code. You have to optimize your code, your big O concept, everything comes into the picture.
Okay.
TOM optimization and the space optimization. So everything has to be rewritten, check thoroughly once again. Yes, but there are few algorithms that helps you to get to that level also. So yeah, so those are the things that I have from my side. So yeah, so when you come to the machine learning, most of you people might be knowing it. I told you about the classification and the regression, right? So when you talk about the classification and regression, let me talk about regression. Your linear regression is one of the algorithm that comes into the picture, and many other algorithms like your decision tree is one of the famous algorithm, and random forest decision tree. Okay, and random forest. And there are some boosting algorithms. Of course, random forest is an ensemble algorithm. It is a bagging algorithm. Okay, and when it comes to the boosting, you know that XG boost, ADA boost, and gradient boost are the few algorithms that are very powerful. Okay, these are all sequential algorithms, means they take the data and they are all ensemble, means together, right? So they're all tiny algorithms stitched together. So one algorithm takes the input from the previous algorithm, okay, or the previous algorithm feeds to the next algorithm. So these are the different levels, so that at each algorithm the accuracy improves. So this is all your machine learning algorithms. So in case of classification, the famous is the logistic regression. Okay, and to your knowledge, most of the algorithms are used for both the purpose. You take the decision tree, you take the random forest, you can use for both regression and the classification, all the boosting algorithms also. So you know what is a classification, right? Which, when your target is a of type categorical, means it's of type class. So you have to say male, female, good, bad, red, green, blue. And regression is when your target is continuous, right? And coming to the deep learning, you have the most famous algorithm is the for image processing is CNN. Of course, I mean everything, there are advanced algorithms what you are saying, but the basic algorithm is good is CNN. There are GANs and all are there. Okay, and on the NLP side, this is for image processing. On the NLP side, you have RNNs, LSTM, long short-term memory. Okay, and there is another thing called GRU. Okay, so these are the famous, and there are many other things too. BERT is also something, bidirectional encoder transformer. Okay, BERT is something which is gaining a lot of traction these days. Okay, so these are all on NLP side. So even if somebody wants to choose the data science as career, either choose for a deep learning or the NLP. I mean, of course, it's not that you have to stick to one. You can learn both, but it is a challenging. If you like your image processing and all, stick to the deep learning. And if you like your voice recognition, translations, machine conversions, these are all things you can go for NLP. Okay. So this is at high level. What are all the advancements that are happening in the industry? There are, I mean, what I spoke is almost only 5% of what is happening in the industry real time. Take the healthcare, health tech, what we call edutech, fintech. There are huge number of things that are going on, and there is a space tech is also coming into picture nowadays, right? Space tech, where you do a lot of things. You launch your own satellites, kind of thing. And also, one gap I am seeing is space debris cleaning. If anybody of you are interested, we can talk about that. A lot of satellites went out there into the space. Space was very clean before 1960s, and nowadays everything in the space is contaminated. It is like our garbage bin, what you see right across your street, right? Space has a lot of satellites that are hanging over, and all the waste, the space waste is out there. Nobody is cleaning up. At least the the garbage that is out there, somebody can clean up either today or tomorrow. But in the space, it has become a more challenge, and that is posing a more threat to the new satellites that are going there, because it is a small debris that can, it is a small ant that can trouble an elephant, right? So it is kind of the small debris can trouble the whole big satellite, the new satellites. So that space cleaning is a essential thing. Both, it has both social cause and the commercial cause. So if somebody is interested, that can also be taken up. Okay, so there are few gaps that I'm seeing, and future, you trust me, very soon the flying cars will come. EVs are already there. The flying cars, you must travel to your university very soon on the flying car. It is already there in the Middle East countries, and I don't know when it comes to India, but definitely Western countries will adopt to that one. Okay. So that is pretty much it from my side. I'm open for questions if you people have any.
Participants, we are open for question answer session now. If you have any questions or queries, you can post in the chat window. I can read it for you. Any questions from the participants? Actually, the content has been delivered in such a nice manner, sir, that everything was so clear.
Thank you so much.
I don't think that there would be any question on the content actually.
Oh, great. Yeah.
On the content, there are very less chances of any questions, because means I'm not flattering, but the truth is this, that the content
Thank
was
you.
delivered very beautifully, sir.
Thank you so much.
Everything was so clear. So as you have already thrown some light on, sir, the collaboration opportunities, can you please means give clear directions that if anyone wants to means collaborate with you, then what should be the way, and means is there any eligibility criteria for that, or only interest is
And Interest,
sufficient.
yes, enthusiasm, yes. Thank you so much, Brani. Yeah. So only interest and definitely the enthusiasm. Okay.
Okay.
That is what I'm looking for. I'm open
Means
for
any undergrad student can also contact you. Any
yes.
postgrad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm active on LinkedIn. You can connect me on the LinkedIn and we can talk.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
you can search my name, Funny Karnati, if you want
Yeah.
to write it over here.
Okay. Yeah, I can see number of appreciation messages have started coming in the chat
Oh,
window.
thank you. Yeah.
So anyway, any participant has any questions on collaboration or any other means any query in your mind? So, sir, we have one question from Ritesh Trivedi.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What new Python libraries are better for machine translation on Indian languages, and what kind of pre-processing is required?
So for first thing, your unstructured data has to be converted into structured data. Okay, that there are in different forms. But when it comes to the libraries, still I go with within my knowledge when it comes to the NLP, your Gensim and Spacy are doing good even for the Gensim and Spacy are the two good libraries. Even Stanford NLP is also there, but Gensim and Spacy are my favorite libraries that I normally prefer for anybody to try with NLP. And yeah, I'm mostly into deep learning side. I have to check. Even BERT is doing good. As I told you, right? BERT is another algorithm library that is algorithm which can be used as a library. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
And
And yes, please.
yeah, security is a big challenge. Okay. And for AI, you know, like when I was studying in my university, even my professor was talking about AI with cyber security has a huge demand. Why? Because let me tell you, say for example, I was talking about a flying car, right? And what happens if that can be hacked and shut it down? It's very easy if you don't have proper security, right? So you're flying and your engine stopped. Why? Because it is the more you get into the electronics, the more threat is definitely there. So you have to be protected from the cyber attacks. Okay, it's very easy to be attacked. Okay, so for every if it's a business critical applications, you definitely have to have a security for that. Okay, now your smartphones are highly hackable, right? You know how serious threat it is for the people with the smartphones, right? And the more and more you get into the technology, you your driverless cars are hackable. Okay, if they are hacked, that's it. It can be a disastrous. That is the reason they're not getting license very easily. Your drones are hackable. Drones can be hacked very easily. Okay, that is the reason in India they are very strict about the drone rules. Okay, so yeah, these are all the every electronic item has to be shielded, otherwise it's a big problem. The more you get into this one, it's a problem. Okay, your EV vehicles can be hackable. Okay, so because there is no engine in that one, but of course there are battery driven, but if you see the electronic components, if you have some electronic components into that one to make it more smart, that is a problematic thing. Okay, yeah, so these are every it has a, there is a huge threat. I totally agree with you from the cyber security perspective.
So
Yeah.
we have another query from Dr. Nitin.
Okay.
Actually, he is interested in knowing means what are the other plant disease detection algorithms other than YOLO?
Plant disease algorithms have started even with the CNN level, and even your SVMs, any image processing algorithms can be used. But what we identified is your YOLO is giving the better performance. There is SPP, spatial pyramidal pooling. There are algorithms. I don't remember on top of the on my head. They use a spatial pyramidal pooling to do the better performance. Okay, so but out of those things, YOLO family is doing better. It started with CNN also. Okay, and even from the image processing, once you do little bit of image processing and you give it to the SVM also does good. But ultimately your OLO is giving more performance accuracy and FPS, frame per second, because you have to predict on the fly, right? It's not that you take your own time to predict that one. So you have to predict on the fly. So you need to have the better image processing capability. So in YOLO is doing good. That is the reason we went for the YOLO. Okay, to answer your question, yes, CNN is another one. And there are a few other algorithms, traditional algorithms, which are there. Viola Jones is one of the algorithms that you could recall. Viola Jones is also one of them. Algorithm that is doing good. Vanch's algorithm is doing good. So these are the few primitive algorithms that were there right from the beginning.
I think you have already addressed this question asked by Dr. Sudeshna, that what are the security and threats of futuristic
Yes. I
AI?
read
Yes.
that and I answered yes.
Yes. I don't find any other question in my chat window, sir.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So I have one more query that if do you have any internship opportunities also for the undergrad students at your company?
Yes, I may look for some internship in the coming future. Yes, but I have one or two I can accommodate at this point.
Okay.
But I'm looking for more in the near future.
Okay. So better we go or better we sign an MOU for that first, or
Yes, we can sign an MOU. I'm fine with anything.
we'll be looking forward for that also, sir, in future. And I
Thank
can
you.
see again an appreciation message from Dr. Sudeshna, that well organized and knowledgeable session.
Thank you, Dr. Sudeshna. Yeah.
So now I request you to kindly unshare your screen, sir, so that we can have a gallery view of the participants.
Okay, sure.
And I also request all the participants to kindly switch on their video if they don't have any hesitation, so that we can have a good screenshot. This is the last session of the FDP. We'll be organizing another version next year. And I also request the participants, those who are interested in sharing their feedback about this session as well as on this FDP, throughout this FDP. I can see some of the faces which have been attending the sessions very regularly. Dr. Godfrey, may I request you to kindly say a few words?
Thank you, sir, and greetings to everyone. I want to thank the department and the school for organizing this very wonderful session on the program, Training for Recent Advances in Computer Science and Applied Domains. Very insightful, very powerful speakers from the start to the end. And this last one touched on very critical areas, and the presenter did a very wonderful job, in unpacking this perfect subject. We thank you very much, and we're looking forward to engaging with you.
Dr. Godfrey.
Yes, thank you so much. It is most appreciated.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, I can see Dr. Sudeshna is there with us. He was our colleague also last year, until last year, and she is doing wonders at her present organization. May I request Dr. Sudeshna to kindly say a few words?
I know Fani Karnati. He's one of my good collaborators, and we are connected with the Industry Academia interface. I know his work, and this session is really very resourceful, very knowledgeable, and I'm looking forward we can arrange the same in my present institute as well. Sharda is doing absolutely well with the presence of Dr. Arun. Nicely organized FDP, I must say. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sudeshna.
My
Anyone
pleasure.
else who wants to say something, you can raise your hand. Whosoever wants to share his or her feedback with us, you can just raise your hand so that I can allow you to unmute yourself. I can see Monica, yeah, Miss from Zohaib Hassan. He or she has dropped us a message. Miss Monica, I can see. Miss Monica, would you like to say something? You have been a sincere listener. You have been a sincere participant throughout this activity. Yeah, Ritesh Trivedi wants to say something. Let me allow him to. Yeah. Yes, Ritesh, I think yes. You can now unmute yourself. Yeah, please.
Very good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
The program was very well organized and very knowledgeable. And many fields, emerging technology has been covered, like quantum computing and quantum cryptography. And today last session was on AI/ML, because I'm working PhD under the guidance of Dr. Ankur Chaudhary sir. And my one more question was left. I want to ask Pani sir.
You can go
Because
ahead now.
there we, I'm from NIC, National Informatics Center, Government of India organization. I'm working there as a scientist. So we are facing a challenge, AI hackathon, where our senior IS officers has given us a challenge.
Okay.
That there are so many policy documents. Those are so lengthy in nature, like 200, 500, 1000 page policy documents.
Okay.
So they want us to make a model which can question answers, kind of. We can like, suppose there is a Aadhaar, who can make their Aadhaar. There is a given in Aadhaar 200, 1000 page document is there written. What are the eligibilities for Aadhaar? So I just write the question, what are the eligibility criteria for Aadhaar? It will search and give the answer, kind of those things.
Okay, great.
So NVIDIA team is helping us in this regard. They have suggested some transfer learning model like Hugging Face and Nemo. They are in-house. Hugging Face, so
Right.
I think open source it is.
Right.
So I want some light from your side. Finally, we are making squad format question answer for training purpose.
Okay,
Final
okay,
data.
okay.
We are
Yeah, yeah.
extracting so many documents from different ministries, and
Okay.
we are finally making the squad format data for final training purpose.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
So, please throw some light on this. Are we are in right direction, or what else we can do in this?
No, actually, for that one, probably I need to little understand the problem little bit. Okay, so why don't we connect offline? Probably we can connect over the LinkedIn and try to see what is the problem you're trying to solve. And let me also do a little bit of the research and try to understand that one. And I can definitely give you the better algorithms and see how best. I may ask you a couple of questions like why we are doing on this way only. We may come up with a better approach also. Okay, so we'll spend some time and get the right details, and I can give you the right direction from that perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I think
Thank you,
Ritesh, you can, yeah, you can, Ritesh, you can connect with Dr. Karnati later.
Yeah.
With the, by keeping Dr. Ankur Chaudhary in loop, I think. So I can see Miss Nisha. Would you like to say something? Miss Nisha, are you there? Yeah, I think earlier she wanted to say something, but somehow.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
anybody else wants to say something, we are open. You can just raise your hand. And we can allow you to unmute yourself. So anyway, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for
Thanks a
sharing
lot.
your expertise with us and sharing the collaboration opportunities with us.
Thanks a lot.
And we will definitely in touch with you in future also
Sure.
regarding all these collaborations. And On behalf of organizing committee of this FDP, we are also very thankful to our management, especially to Dr. Parmanan and Dr. Nitin Rakesh, who is heading the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, and who has given us the free hand to conduct such type of FDPs and all the events we are interested in. We are very, very, very thankful to both of them and to the management of the Sharda University. And no FDP can be conducted without active involvement of the participants and the speakers. So we are also thankful to all the speakers who have given or shared their expertise with the participants and us. And sincere thanks to all the participants for their patient listening and active participation. And when I'm speaking active participation, it was really active participation, means they were answering to all the questions raised by the speakers, let it be in between the session or after the session. And they have been asking questions from the speakers throughout the session. Thank you all the participants. And now Dr. Gaurav Raj will be sharing one this feedback form with you. So that will be consisting of the feedback of all the 12 sessions. And just to inform you, as you can see on the screen, that Sharda University School of Engineering and Technology, especially Department of Computer Sciences and Engineering, is going to organize its third international conference, which is International Conference on Advances and Applications of Artificial Intelligence in Machine Learning. And the conference is going to be held on 16th, 17th September 2022. And the last date for submitting the papers is 30th June 2022. So this is going to happen in collaboration with University of Creva, and we are also looking for another collaborations, like we can also collaborate with Behave.ai with Dr. Fani also, because his company is also working good in the field of AI. So we have some more companies in line. So all of you are requested to share and to publicize this conference in all your with all your acquaintances, and we want to have active participation from your side in this conference also, in the terms of means research papers, if you want to submit novel research papers. And if any of you want to become a reviewer of this conference, we would also share a Google form with all those who have their doctorate degree, so that you can also contribute in the form of a reviewer of this conference. So with these words, I am again thankful to all the participants as well as all the speakers, and to the management of the Sharda University, especially Dr. Parmanand and Dr. Nitin Rakesh. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for making this event a grand success. Dr. Ankur, would you like to say something?
I will also like to say thanks to everybody. So they were available throughout the sessions. They were doing some active participation in that. And as Dr. Arun have already said that we are going to organize this conference. So we'll be sharing you the link for that. Those who want to be part of reviewer also. If anybody want to contribute by other means also, they can connect with us offline. We are open to that. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
So I think it would be wrong on our part if we don't announce the name of our organizing committee members. We have with us Dr. Gaurav Raj, Dr. Abhishek Singh Verma, who is could not attend this meeting right now due to some personal reason, and Dr. Vishal Jain. We are also thankful to all our organizing committee members. Yeah. Thank you all the participants. Thank you for attending and making this event a grand success once again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all, guys.
Feedback link
Have a
is
great rest of
shared with you all, and this feedback link is having another option for you if you need to update your registration, if you need certificate, and if previously you have registered without certificate, you can update your details. If any kind of updation you need, the link is having the option, so please fill it carefully.
Dr. Gaurav, we have one message in the chat window that facing issues in filling the form. Kindly check the form once.
I'm looking,
And
sir.
kindly stop the recording.